sitting at the edge of your chair with your knees hip distance apart. Lengthen the spine, feel your ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips. And you want to feel the connection of your feet to the earth, the connection of your sits bones to the chair. Feel the strong line of the spine and the strength of those tiny muscles just sort of hugging inward, supporting the length of the spine. And then see if you can feel your shoulders draping down onto that support. So there's a pressing down and lifting up. And then the same with the head, the cervical spine, the ears are over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. And then notice how much space there is for the breath. See if you can feel yourself inhaling and exhaling. And notice if the work of the breath is less because you're totally engaged in each and every breath. And then allow your mind to follow the breath so that you think, I breathe in, I breathe out. I breathe in and I breathe out. And then bring your hands to Anjali Mudra at the heart center. And as you inhale, sweep your arms down and up. And exhale back to the heart. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. And 1 more time. Inhale. And 1 more time. Exhale. And then bring your hands to your belly and lengthen, and we'll start with our twisting flow to one side and then the other. Again, a nice, strong, long spine as you move from side to side. And then come back to the center and go ahead and bring your left hand to the inside of the left knee, right hand by your right hip, lengthen 3 slow deep twists to the right from the navel to the top of the collarbone. And back to the front head, shoulders, chest, and belly. And again, a slow deep twist to the right. And back to the center. And 1 more time, twisting to the right. And 1 more time, back to the center, bringing your arms down. Inhale, lift up, look up. And exhale, just float the arms down. Do that 2 more times. Take up all the space and all the time here. And then bring the right hand to the inside of the right knee, left hand by your left hip and lengthen. And as you exhale, twisting to the left from the navel to the top of the collarbone and turning the head. And coming back to the front head, shoulder, chest, belly. And again, slow, deep twist to the left. And back to the front. And 1 more time from the bottom to the top. Uncurling from the top to the bottom, bringing the arms down, inhale up. And exhale 2 more times. And last one, And then go ahead and bring your hands low on your hips and hinge forward, leading with the heart here, and lift back up. And we're just doing this a few times, hinging forward and up, hinging forward and up. Now, the next time you hinge forward, stay here. And then slide your hands down towards your knees and slide all the way down. Keep the spine long here, really lengthen, and press your belly towards the thighs. If you need to walk your feet out to make room for your belly, do that. Lengthen, and then just press your belly as close to the thighs as you can, and then release the upper back. So feel it from about the middle of the spine here, all the way up to the tops of the shoulders, and then all the way to the top of the head. Releasing here. And as you inhale and exhale, just reassure yourself there is plenty of room to breathe. Let the belly compress into the thighs. And then inhale, come back up to a flat back. Slide the hands up to the hips and come all the way back up to sitting. And then just do a little holographic here, just a slow, three-dimensional asymmetric movement. So I've been reading up on the koshas, which is an energetic theory about the different layers, like auras of the body, and how they're interrelated, and how the fascia is an example of this sort of energetic interconnectedness of the body. And so that just gives me another sort of a theoretical perspective on why this type of movement is so good for us. And then bring that to a close. Come back up to sitting. Bring your arms down to the side. And as you inhale, bring the right arm across and up, and exhale down. And then the left arm, inhale and exhale. So keep going like this. Inhale and exhale. And so that, you know, in a yoga practice, there's so many different things you can decide to be mindful about. But the most important thing is just to notice what it feels like for you to be in your body. And imagine your body as simply a container for the energy you bring into the world. And when that energy flows without obstruction, first of all, you have more of it to use because there's less just getting blocked and swirling around aimlessly. And the energy is more dynamic, more powerful, and even maybe a little bit of purer because it's not obstructed. It's simply shining out from your true authentic self. That concept is called Purusha in Sanskrit. So go one more time each side. And then bring that to a close and bring your hands onto your knees and lengthen the spine. Now, as you inhale, engage the root block, the pit of the belly, and curl forward one vertebra at a time into your cat. And then press the sits bones, lengthen the spine, and open the heart center coming into cow. And keep going like this, inhaling as you round into cat. Exhaling as you arch into cow. And so again, we're getting into some fascia, to some connective tissue. And we're also wiring up the central motor nervous system here, working all up and down the spine. And you can think of your spine as the central, as kind of a switchboard, I guess, for your muscles. Because from the spinal column come all of the, or the spinal cord come all of the nerves that innervate our muscles, so that we can move in all sorts of magical ways. And the next time you come to neutral again, lengthen and move in that holographic way, compressing and releasing. And then go ahead and come back to sitting up nice and tall, and go ahead and walk or scoot yourself back into your chair. Let your feet, your heels just be on the mat. Bring your arms down and go ahead and straighten the right leg and lower, and then the left. Now keep the foot strongly flexed, the toes pointing towards your head and then reaching forward through the heel, but pulling the toes back towards you. That strengthens the muscles around the knee joint. And because a lot of us have issues with our knees, we want to create the best support we can with our muscles for that joint, because that's where we get into trouble when the muscles get weak and you rely on the joint to bear the weight. Then it's just too much stress on that joint. The joints are created for mobility, and the bones and muscles are for strength. And when you use your mobile parts to make you stronger, it just erodes them, and pretty soon it just causes problems. So not all the time, but sometimes. Now, the next time you flex that foot and reach through the heel, stay here and go ahead and point and flex the toes, working into the little muscles of the feet and the ankle. And then flex the foot, reach through the heel, make big ankle circles going in one direction. And then reverse, make big ankle circles going in the opposite direction. And then flex the foot, reach through the heel, and release that foot down. And then straightening the left leg and pointing and flexing. And then flex the foot, reach through the heel, make big ankle circles. And then reverse, make big ankle circles going the opposite direction. And then flex the foot, reach through the heel, and release that down. Now, straighten your right leg and float this left arm up like this, and then take this little twist towards the right and hinge over towards the toes. And then we'll lift the arm up, untwist, float the arm and leg down, and then left leg, right arm, reach tall, twist and hinge, and then come back up, untwist and lower. So part of the way you get closer to your toes, not that that really matters, but make sure you're lengthening the spine so the reach isn't at the arm or the hip hinge. The reach is from the tip of the tailbone to the top of the fingertips. So just see if you can feel that nice long reach. And again, it doesn't matter how close you get to your toes, or even if you can touch your toes. But what does matter is that you're stretching into the body in this way. So, one of the theories of yoga is that we hold the byproducts of emotions in our tissue, and that when we move and stretch them, those that residual releases. Go one more time each side. And another way, a more modern way of looking at that might be to think that neurotransmitters are just hanging out in the tissue. Go ahead and breathe here. And that when we move and stretch tissue that's been sitting stagnant for a while, it releases those products of neurotransmitters and makes us feel better. So go ahead from here and let's roll our shoulders forward and up and down the back. Do that a few times. And you really don't have to worry too much about how or why yoga works, or even if it works, because yoga mostly is experiential. It's your own, whatever your experience is during your yoga practice is real and is important, especially if it makes you feel better. Go ahead and bring that to a close. But even if it doesn't make you feel better, if you're feeling some negative emotions, according to yoga theory, it's important to just sit with those emotions and wait for them to pass, that they won't hurt you, that they're just feelings like clouds passing over and out. Now, go ahead and lengthen your spine, and let's make little circles with our nose going clockwise. So just imagine the face of a clock. Take your nose and start going around that clock face, 1, 2, 3, 4. Start little tiny, and then slowly and mindfully make those circles a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, until finally you're making great big circles with your nose going all around the face of that clock. And what you're actually doing is just stretching into the neck muscles without hyperextending backwards too much. You might hear some clicking and popping. That's just kind of part of it. And the next time your chin comes down to your chest, stay here and breathe. And then lift the ears over the shoulders. And then we're going to go counterclockwise. So again, little tiny circles going backwards around the face of a clock. And you can start to make those circles a little bigger and a little bit bigger, till finally you're making great big circles with your nose. Stretching into the muscles of the neck. Going slower when you hear popping or clicking, or if there's any places where there's some irritation or inflammation. And the next time you bring your chin down to the chest, stay here and breathe. And then lift the ears over the shoulders. And then float your arms down. And go ahead and bring the arms up to a T, rotate the palms, and bring the tips of the fingers onto the shoulders, and bring the elbows forward and up and down the back. So just making these are called angel wings, these little angel wings. And you can feel your arms moving in the shoulder, but also your shoulder blades sliding up and down the back. And then bring that to a close. And go ahead and slide yourself back onto the edge of the chair, sitting up nice and tall. And bring your right knee out to the side, and your left leg is out to the side, but the left knee is straight. And make sure that this right ankle is right underneath the right knee. So sometimes there's a tendency to bring it in like this or to have it out like that. And you want this nice 90-degree angle. And bring your arms out to a T. Strongly flex this left foot. And then just bring your right arm up and over. And then come back. And again, the right arm up and over. This is inhale and exhale. And again, inhale and exhale. One more time, flowing through this. And when you come to Warrior Two, stay here and breathe. And then come to this reverse warrior, stay here and breathe. And back to Warrior Two, and lower the arms and heel toes, step in and tap out. And then sit up nice and tall with your hands at the heart center, and we'll do some full seated forward fold. So inhale the arms down and up. And as you exhale, swan dive forward. So leaning the whole belly over the thighs and release the shoulders, sweep towards the earth. Inhale, the arms come up, the shoulders and heads come up, and then you lift all the way up and draw the hands down the midline. Inhale, down and up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, up. And exhale. Just keep going. And go one more time. Now, keep your left knee bent and your right leg straight. Come back into that seated, it's basically a seated Warrior Two. Make sure your ankle is right underneath the knee. Bring the arms up. Flex this right foot really strongly to support that knee. And then float your right arm down. Your left arm comes up in this reverse warrior. Inhale. And back through Warrior Two. Inhale here. And exhale here. So you might notice how you're engaging the root block and the pit of the belly, also called Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. But whatever you're noticing, you want to move slowly enough to make that mind-body connection. One more time, the reverse warrior. And then we're going to hold this Warrior Two. And then we're going to hold this reverse warrior right here. Coming back to Warrior Two. And then lowering the arms, bringing the feet in and tapping out. And we will make our way up to standing. So you can take your chair and just move it over to the right side of your mat like this. And then come up to standing like this. And then maybe just come in front of your chair just a little bit. I'm just going to come right here. I got it. Sorry. I don't think I would have this down. So come to mountain pose, standing with your feet hip distance apart. Standing with your feet hip distance apart. I cannot get happy here. So just stand right here in mountain pose, breathing into the belly. Bring your hands to the fronts of the legs and bend your knees, and we're going to slide down and up, hinging at the hips. So it's a move like this. Bend the knees as much as you need to in order to make room, because what we're doing here is we're stretching the hamstring, but we're stretching the muscles, not the tendons. So one more time like that, and then come back up to standing. And bring your hands to the heart center. And as you inhale, sweep the arms down and up. And then exhale, bend the knees. Come into Utkatasana, power pose. And then inhale as you lift up, and exhale, bring your hands to the heart. Inhale, the arms down and up. Exhale, down the midline in Utkatasana. Inhale up. And exhale. Keep going like this. One more flow through. And then the next time we're going to stay and hold for a few breaths. So this is Utkatasana. It means power pose or powerful pose. So find the place where you feel powerful, where you feel like you could hold this for a while. Depends on how much you want to challenge yourself this morning. Breathing here. And then inhale up. And exhale to the heart center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, the arms down and up. Exhale into Utkatasana. Breathing here. And then inhale up and exhale. Your hands back to Anjali Mudra. Now, let's do a little warrior one. So bring your right foot forward and your left foot back into a warrior one stance. So you want your feet out like on a train track. Your right foot is in front. And you can use the chair here for balance if you need to. Press into the four corners of the feet. And just start by bending and straightening that right knee. Inhale as you bend and exhale as you straighten. So remember at the first of the class when we talked about feeling rooted to the chair through our sits bones and to the floor through our feet and the upliftedness of the spine. See if you can recreate that here, these two opposing forces of energy from the navel down to the ground and another force from the navel up through the top of the head. Now this time, bring this left arm up. We're going to flow in and out a few more times. Every time you do this pose, counter pose, the body has a chance to figure out a little bit better way to be in the pose. And the next time you come into warrior one, stay here. Now look straight ahead. Let this right arm down and then up. Look straight ahead. Soften your jaw, relax your face. And breathe. And then go ahead and release the arms down. You can hold onto the chair again, hinge forward so your weight is over this right foot. Push off the back leg and come back to standing in your mountain pose. And just notice your breath, inhaling and exhaling. I breathe in, I breathe out. And if you'd like to take your chair and move it to the other side, we'll do the left side. So standing nice and tall here, go ahead and bring the left foot forward and the right foot back. Like you're on little train tracks, pressing into the four corners, the arches are active. And the back foot is sort of tricky. You want it out enough so that when you bend your left knee, the heel doesn't come up off the floor, but you want the toes forward enough so this hip will stay forward. So you just have to figure out how turned out to put your foot, and then go ahead and bend and straighten the left leg, coming in and out of the pose. See if you can feel the two opposing forces. So in yoga terms, it's Apana Vayu. They have a name for everything. All kinds of energetic terms that we don't usually think of, but Apana Vayu, that's the energy that grounds you to the earth. And then from the navel up is Udana Vayu. It's actually from the diaphragm up. So just bending and straightening, noticing how it feels to be in your body. And then bringing this right arm with you, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time like this. And the next time, stay here. Find a focal point. Float that left arm up. Find your best pose. Find the pose where you feel the prana flowing, where you feel the energy flowing without obstruction. And then release the arms, hinge forward over the left foot, step forward, and just rock from side to side here. Coming back to the breath. And then bring your feet under your hips one last time, bend the knees, and slide down and up. Tipping the pelvis towards the thighs, just stretching out. So here you may notice you don't want to bend your knees quite as much. That's okay, but still bend them just a little. And one more time. And then just to create some contrast, keep your knees straight, bring your hands low on your hips, and just hinge at the hips, leading with the heart center. Doing this half forward fold without bending the knees. So both poses are important, and both poses add something to your practice. And I will usually do the bent knee forward folds before we do any other kind of forward fold in my classes when I'm teaching, because that's safest. Go ahead one more time. So now go ahead and bring your chair back. And we're going to finish up with a pose, an energetic pose, one of my favorites, called Lion's Pose. And it's kind of silly. It's similar to Woodchopper and Breath of Joy and some of those. In Lion's Pose, you make a lion's face like this. So you make your eyes as big as you can, your mouth as big as you can. You stick your tongue out and you roll your eyeballs up to the ceiling. And when you do it, you make the lion's noise. You go. So we'll do that 3 times in succession, and then we'll sit and just notice our energy. And it is okay to laugh. It feels funny. It feels silly. It's a release of energy. It releases the throat chakra. So we're going to do that. So sit up nice and tall, and then inhale and go. Once more. And then just sit and notice. So the energetic after effect of the yoga practice or the yoga pose is called the kumbha. It's just acknowledging that once the physical activity is done, there's some energetic after effect. We're going to do that again 3 times. Ready? Inhale. Last one. And back to your breath. And we'll make our way to Shavasana now. So if you want to do a seated meditation in the chair, slide yourself back, sit up nice and tall. And you can do this, this empty bowl mudra where you put your left hand on the bottom, the right hand on the top, and you bring your 2 fingers together and kind of cup your hands, and that makes an empty bowl. And then you can just place that on your lap and sit as you meditate. And creating this empty bowl mudra with the hands can help you have a sense of it's not even really an empty mind, it's a still mind. It's creating the space, the time and space for you to just be still. And if you're on the mat in Shavasana, just bring your hands down to the side and roll the palms up, and you can think about the palms of the hands also being that empty bowl.